Hello there, this is video number 8. We're just going to continue on here with getting the score manager to work, and that will basically be the game. I mean, you can do a little bit more if you'd like. Well, you are going to do a bit more to make it a little bit more Pong-like, I guess. But this will be pretty well the end of the video. Okay, so what we want to do here is again create two scripts, okay? Enemy boundary and player boundary. Both of these will be basically the same, so you can just make the one script and then basically copy and paste, and you'll see the differences here are pretty minimal. So let's just look at the player boundary, and let's go over here. So player boundary. And so again, very typical layout here. So we've got our player boundary, and we're going to set the score value to 1. Okay, so we've got an integer. Now I've made that public. Okay, doesn't really need to be. It could be private. And now this is a little bit different. We need to be able to talk to the score manager script. And so what I've done is actually put in a reference to it. Now, let's get a little bit to classes, which we did see with the previous Pong in Python. And remember that a class is kind of like almost like a recipe. It's the directions for making something. Okay, and so and then when you call or you use your class to create an object of that instance. And so the idea here is we're creating a public variable. Okay, and the variable is called score manager. Notice it's using a small s, and you can sort of see there it just sort of said, okay, public score manager. So I thought it said something. Okay, and so there it's referencing the class. Okay, and so it's going to be making an instance, okay, of the specific object for the score manager of the class score manager. And notice that changed to blue because it actually knew that that's something we've created in our game. Okay, so what we have to do at the start is actually find the score manager. Okay, now you can do this in a variety of different ways, but notice here what I've done is created a variable again called a game object. And so I'm going to specifically the score manager object. Okay, so I've created another variable and specifically looking for the score manager object, which is in our game. So if you remember, we created a variable, or sorry, not a variable, an empty with the score manager script attached. So it's looking for this. Okay, and you'll notice here I did tag it as well. Again, you can do this various ways, but I just simply tagged it, and so it's going to set that to the object it finds tagged score manager. Now, if the score manager object does not equal null, okay, so if it can find it, then what is it going to do? Okay, what it's going to do is it's actually going to grab the script. Okay, so that's what's going on here. The score manager, which remember I said is the class score manager, okay, it's going to onto that score manager object, okay, so that's this guy here, because that's the object. It's going to get the component, and really this is sort of saying get the script, okay, and so it's specifically going to grab that score manager script, okay, because it is a component, just like we've done before, get the rigid body or whatever. We're grabbing, in this case, the script that we've created. Okay, and so it will set that to the score manager. That way we'll be able to modify or talk to the score manager script. Now I've put this a little bit in as a debug as well, and this isn't really functionally necessary, but it helps us if we have a trouble with this, and I would suggest you put this in. So basically it's saying if it can't find the score manager script, okay, or it can't find the score manager object, it will put add sort of an error message, a debug.log, okay, saying specifically it can't find the score manager script. And so that could either be because It can't find the object, or it can't find the script, I guess. I guess it couldn't be the object. Yeah, it won't be able to find the object, I guess. All right, so that's basically just setting it up so that this script can talk to the other script. Okay, then we've got an on trigger enter 2D, since we're using this as a 2D game, just a collider 2D. Okay, we've called whatever it collides with the other. So this is on the boundary. And so this is going to collide with, the only thing that should hit it is the ball. Okay, so if other dot compare tag is equal to ball, and really, like I said, we don't even have to call it the ball because it's going to be the only thing that hits it, I think. Okay, but that helps just in case. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to contact the score manager. We're going to add the enemy score. Okay, and we're going to put the score value. Okay, and we've put that in as 1. Okay, so that's defaulted to 1 there. And it's going to destroy the ball. Okay, now this particular script is just for the player boundary. Okay, so that's that makes sense. Okay, I just was getting a little concerned there. But if this is on the player, then the enemy is going to get a point. So what it's going to do is it's going to go to the score manager, go to the function. So score manager, go to the function, add enemy score. It's carrying in the value of 1 because that's the score value. Adds 1 to the enemy score, prints it to the string, and then says enemy win is true. Okay, so that's what's going on here. And then we just close up the script. Okay, and like I mentioned there, we also destroy the ball because then the ball will get reinstantiated. Basically on the score, I think it's on the score manager, right? Yeah. So if the ball is missing and, right, the enemy win is true, then it will, do this one here, put a new ball in. Okay. The enemy boundary is going to be basically identical. So this top bit, apart from the name here, okay, is identical. So you can just copy and paste everything. The only difference is that we're going to, instead of adding to the enemy score, if it gets past the enemy, we're going to add to the player score. Okay, and we're going to destroy the ball just the same. Okay, so there's no difference in this script compared to the previous script, except for obviously the name and which score we're adding to. Okay, so when you come back into Unity, you've saved these, and hopefully you don't have any errors. If you've got any errors, make sure you fix those. If you click on the score manager, okay, you need to make sure that you drag a few things in. One of them is the text, right? So on your event or your canvas, make sure you drop in your player score and your enemy score so it knows which ones to update. Okay, your current enemy score and current player score, we didn't really need to make those public, but I've got them there. You need to know where the paddles are, and that's basically to locate the balls. So again, on your paddle, you can bring it in. So really, I've got a bad name for this one, just called it paddle, but drag that in, and then your enemy as well, drag that in so it knows where it is. And then the last thing you need to do, because we were reinstantiating the ball, make sure your prefabs that you drag the ball in. Okay. Those other scripts, okay, those two boundary scripts, they should go on the boundaries. So we call them dead zones. So the enemy dead zone should have the enemy script on it. And I made that score value public again. Again, I didn't need to, unless you thought there would be a need to change that value. And then the player dead zone would have the score value as well. Now, just a second here. I don't know why in the player dead zone we've got something there. Oh, I think I was just testing. So I made that one private, and I made this one public. What I was just doing is making sure, when I was playtesting, that I was getting the instance of that showing up. So if I show it here, there's nothing here at the moment, but when I hit play, okay, then the score manager pops up here. Okay, so if I want to play this game, just to make sure we got it going, Okay, it looks like it's okay. Now this is something we'll talk about here. Let me just pause it, play again. That's something we might have to work on to try to improve the game. Oh, okay, I'm talking and playing. But as you can see, it's playing fine. Okay, and so if the enemy wins, I get the ball. Okay, and if I ever beat the enemy, which I might do here, oh no, then the player would get the ball. Okay, or the enemy would get the ball. Okay, if I ever won. Probably won't though. And the score's going up. It seems pretty good. Okay, now we'll talk a little bit about maybe how we can get rid of this in the next video. And also, like I said, we've got basically Pong working here. And so the next video will just be a couple little things, and then I'll just get you to sort of start working on it yourself, adding some things like sound and so on. All right, so I'm going to end this video here, and like I said, we'll just sort of wrap things up in the next one.